Yo, what's up, everybody? Good evening. What's going on? It's boy Q, and welcome to MTG Stupid Is Real. Now, listen, come on in and share this broadcast. I got some stuff we need to talk about on. Look, now, this is not my fault. This is not my fault. So, what I'm going to talk about tonight, for real, is are you big bitter or are you little bitter? Big bitter or are you a little bit bitter? Now, before we get into this shit, view and listener discretion is advised, okay? This conversation is our opinion, entertainment only. Please be at least 18 years or older to watch this show. Listen to this show, participate in the comments of this show. Make sure you go ahead and do that because, listen, we would prefer you to be years old. But listen, I got some shit to talk about tonight because let me tell you something. I feel like it. What's up, sis? How you doing? Good evening, sis. We gonna be able to resonate with this conversation tonight. Are you big bitter or are you little bitter? Are you big bitter or are you little bitter? Mm. You big bitter? I'm gonna talk to y'all tonight and tell you how you bitter people. I'm gonna talk to y'all tonight and tell y'all how y'all know bitter people because let me tell you something. People be in your face. The people want to, they say they ride for you, they die for you, this kind of thing, this kind of deal, whatever the case is. But people really, really be bitter with you for whatever reason. And I'm coming to find out that sometimes when people are bitter, they're bitter because they are either jealous, they mad, or they just simply can't be you. I need to go get my bill, but I don't have my bill tonight. But that's okay. That's okay. Share this broadcast with all you good people and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and get to sharing myself. Let me do this. Let me share because I like to share to our groups. They allow us to share to them or whatever. I like to call y'all names on Stupid Is Real. Shout out to the crew and all that good stuff. But I'll holler at them in a little bit. You went to Kimball Wynn. Thank you so much for letting you the Black Podcast Network. Thank you so much for letting us share to you a glimpse of encouragement. Thank you so much. Also, as well as what else? Oh yeah, Black Owned Business Portal. Thank you so much for letting us share with you guys. The X Lounge. Thank you so much for letting us share with y'all. 365 days Black. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Let me see. Justin F. Kimball High School class of 1907. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for letting us share with y'all on tonight. My auntie, thank you so much for letting us share to you guys on tonight. Class of 98, Justin F. Kimball High School. So much for letting us share to y'all on tonight. And we appreciate all the rest of you guys. Justin F. High School friends, thank you so much. Candyology, that's my girl. Thank you, Miss. Appreciate you. We love you and all that good stuff. So we got the stuff shared. We got these things shared. I've shared on. Now let's get to work. Let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about this thing. Now I'm hoping that you guys can hear me. I'm hoping that everything is copacetic and working just fine. Let me check the YouTube real quick and let me make sure we all good on YouTube right now. Making sure I can see us on YouTube and all that good stuff. So let me go to my channel on YouTube. Yes, plus on YouTube and Stupid Is Real is live and in color right now on YouTube, on Twitter. So go ahead and if you guys want to watch us, if you're listening to us, thank you so much. You go ahead and hit up anchorfm.com, pick your favorite podcast, and go ahead and also we have Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. So thank you so much. All the countries listening to us, we really appreciate all you guys listening also as well in the United States. So we appreciate you and all that good stuff. So let's talk about it. I get all that those preliminaries out the way because let me tell you something. See, people been getting on my nerve already. They've been getting on my nerves already, and the week just started. You know, it's already just Tuesday. And people are already getting on my nerve. Are you big bitter or are you little bitter? big bitter or are you little bitter? So I first of all, before we even dig into that, I would make y'all laugh real quick. Now I had a couple of memes kind of lined up for us on tonight or whatever. I got one meme that I'm going to do. I'm gonna see if it's gonna come up quick because I think I'm having some internet issues or whatever going on or whatever, so y'all can see me and hear me and all that good stuff, and make sure that the AT&T people don't hear from me on tomorrow. Know that they will, but it's not coming up, and I'm not gonna worry about it. But I'm gonna get into this bit of thing. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So this week I have been challenged to really deal with a few things that I'm noticing going on in my professional circle of life coaching. I've had some clients that I have to deal with, and listen, we're not divulging any names or nothing like that. And then, and of course, have their permission to discuss a few things or whatever. But we have some people, and what I'm starting to realize is that a lot of people are going through different things in their lives who are, people who struggle, who go through things, people who sometimes are dealt a bad hand kind of deal. A lot of times what, they see other people doing good, and they see people, and sometimes people develop a jealousy of a person thriving. And some people, they look at a person and it's like, okay, well, when is that going to happen for me? When am I going to find love? When am I going to be in a place where it's like, oh my God, this is really happening for me. Everything, or every person that I know and see is happy almost, you know. It could be the job. It could be, like I said, it could be your loved one. It could be your relationship. It could be holidays, because the holiday season is coming up. A lot of people, unfortunately, they don't have maybe their families to go to. Some where people may have passed on, or some people may not have as tight knit relationships, that you may have with your family or whatever. You know, people become bitter towards you. People can become bitter towards you. Sometimes, unfortunately, well, most times, all the time, really, it's not, you can control. When someone looks at you in a way that's like, oh my God, that's my friend. I'm not really trying to be this way, but when am I going to get some of this joy and this that I hear my people talk about all the time? And it starts to turn to bitterness. People can become bitterness, especially when optimistic. I am an optimistic person. Now I do play devil's advocate a lot, because when you tell me some things or whatever, if you got on and you tell me, I am going to always think about the motives in my brain, because there has a reason as to why you're thinking this way. What is the motive for thinking? I'm going to always want to know that. And so I have to play devil's advocate, sure that I'm confident in what you're telling me before we move on to something else. Because if it doesn't sit right with me, we can respectfully disagree, especially if you ask my opinion. But I always like to try to point out, the real that could happen. Sometimes people don't want you to point stuff out like that to them. Sometimes people don't want to talk to them about what they got going on and talk to them about how they feel and their feelings. There are some people that's just not going to come out to you and say, "Oh, I'm bitter." I'm real bitter. You know, and I'm about this and I'm bitter about that. A lot of people are not going to do that. Especially if you've never communicated that kind of feeling before. You may have felt, somebody may have called you out on it, and you're like, man, whatever, bitter. No, you the one bitter. You is. No one is ever bitter. No one is ever bitter, and that's simply not the truth. lot of us face emotions that we don't communicate on a daily basis because we simply don't know how. Simply do not know how to communicate those feelings and how they make us feel. Let's see. Reggie said, "I like when I see through your stories." Oh, Reggie, you know what? You trying to get cussed out? Reggie, my stories are meant to have holes in them for interpretation purposes. Don't start, man. Don't start. I'm glad you're okay, man. Oh, we having happy hour. We're here just about you on here. Well, I got you for a few seconds. So yeah, bitter people. There are people who like for real get bitter, about certain stuff. So we're gonna talk about a few things. I'm not gonna go through the thing on tonight. I'd rather focus on a few things, a few of the major things that I have come up with when it comes to bitter people. So let's start. How do I know if someone around? How do I know? The first thing I am going to do, because I'm going to take this out of order or whatever. And so the way that I have studied and wrote this stuff down, I'm out of order. Okay. First of all, they like to hear their own voice. First of all, they like to hear their own voice. People whose favorite topic of conversation, that always turns out to be about them. It's always about them. You could be like, oh my God, you know, my mom bought me a nice Gucci bag for Christmas. Oh, for real? Child, my mama last year. This year she upgrade. We on the MK bag. We on the red bottoms now. Everything has to be about, and generally they will not ask you about you. They will not ask questions about you. It's always about them. It's always every time you turn around, they got to make something bigger than what it really, really is. I know a couple of people like that, don't you? Don't you know a couple of people like that? I know a couple of like that. That every time you turn around, and this is another thing. This is going to go with this real good. A person who's bitter always over promises and under deliver. They always over promise and under deliver. Yeah, I can get that done. Yeah, I got my folk to do this. I got my folk to do that. I can have this rolled up, in a few minutes. Man, this ain't nothing. I can do all this kind of stuff. And it's an excuse when it's time for them to produce, when everybody else is doing their part. Your time to do your part, all of a sudden, an excuse. Something's always wrong. Something is always going on. Something is always being in a place to where it's like, oh, well, this what happened, and I was going to, and I was supposed to, but X, Y, Z. Why would you say that a person that likes to hear their own voice is bitter? I'm glad you asked. Because a person who likes to hear their own voice is very, very insecure about who they really are. They always try to hide that person behind their words. So that's exactly what that states. A person that likes to hear themselves talk, that likes to hear their own voice, is a person that hides behind their words but have no proof in action. Where is my bell? Bell. Where is my bell? Hendry say yes. He's playing on tomorrow night. So on tomorrow, y'all, make sure y'all catch happy hour with Hendrix tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. on the dot. Make sure you do that because I'm sure Reggie got something for y'all on tomorrow. But this ain't Reggie's time. So let's back to the bitter people. Are you big bitter? Or are you little bitter? You little bitter. What you big bitter? Or are you little bitter? I know some big bitter people. Like for real. I know some real big bitter people. Like it is ridiculous. Every time you turn around, You got to hear that. You got to be able to hear their voice. They see you coming. Every time you get on the phone with somebody, they bitter. They got to tell you along with them how they travel all the time and how they got this, they got that. You better people like that. You better watch people like that. That turn around, and every time you turn around, they got this going on. They got that going on. They doing this. They doing that. But ain't none of their bills paid at home. They car. They unhealthy. They going on. They have relationship problems. They out here being they say they're not. They're attempting to be. They create facades. It all look good. That's why you got to be careful on social media. So let me tell you something. When stuff, now good things and stuff like that, that people post, I'm so happy to see. Like anniversaries, like happy anniversary, like my Aunt Cindy and Uncle Marcus, happy anniversary, to my cousin Melody and Melvin, happy anniversary to y'all. Those good to see. It's like, oh my God, that's great. And you are happy for people and you happy for what they got going on. But what happens is this is what gets me is the moment you put your shit on Facebook, the moment you put your shit on Twitter, the moment you put your shit on Instagram, the moment you put your shit on WhatsApp, the moment you put your shit on Snapchat, the moment you put your shit any social media platform that's out there, and when people start to comment and they interpret it differently, now is you against them because you don't like the way they interpret it. And but you like to see and hear yourself type so people can give you some attention. You always got to have some attention. People do that. Bitter people will be so jealous that they just got to make themselves look better. They got to put themselves up. Let me tell you something. One learn, Reggie's on here. He could attest to this. One thing that we learned in high school is us is better than the other. None of us is better than the other. We got taught that lesson by teachers. We got taught that principals. We got taught that lesson by each other because it didn't even matter how much money you had, or it didn't even matter, what was going on with you or whatever. Or if I didn't have no money or whatever it was, we all was a family. And if there was one person that's like, nigga, you ain't got nothing, you don't have nothing. The other one of us be like, man, don't do that. Don't do that, man. Don't be like that. You can't do that. You don't know what's going on at that man's house or at that woman's house because we held each other accountable because we were one cohesive unit at the school, especially in our organizations. We had to stick together, and so of course everybody wasn't like that, but most people who knew us, they knew that look, you don't have no room to talk. We all in public school. That's for real. Next way you know somebody is bitter. Next way you know somebody is bitter. They never make any changes in their lives. No matter what's going on. You could go 5 years and look at them 5 years later and they in the same place. Let that soak in real quick. It was good, y'all. I had to turn the heat on. Yeah, it's got a little nip outside. I cut the heat on. It sure feel good right now. And y'all know I don't do heat well at all. I don't do heat well. They they never make any changes. They are always stagnant. They never make changes. They always the one complaining about when you get promoted. They're always the one tripping when you get in a relationship. They always the one have something to say about it that you grow in a different way. They don't think that you should try this. They don't think that you should. Maybe you should pray about this. Did God tell you to do that? Did God give you to do that? Like you don't have your own brain. Like you don't pray. Like you don't back and analyze the things that you do. Bitter people. Bitter people make changes in their lives. They always operate on the changes of others. Oh, oh, oh. Just in general, just in general. Here, just in general. But no, I didn't even think about that. I really, really did. Props to God. Props to God. Props to God. So the thing is, it's like you all. Prime example. I knew someone um um back in the day, back in the gap, and we used to be in a place where we always was cool. We was in school and stuff at PV. We was always cool, and we separate us. You couldn't separate us. Nothing. You couldn't separate us. And one then after school or whatever, after I left Prairie View, I moved to Houston my sophomore year, and I started to live in Houston, and that's what I wanted to do. The moment that I moved or whatever, and I left my homie, you know, here, I mean, well, at the school or whatever, for me, I was used to, my mom taught me early to take care of my own business and pay your way and do what you need to do. And so I wanted to have my own apartment. And so my friends that I had met were older than me, and so it was like, let's get a little townhouse in H Town. Let's roll. Let's do it. And that's exactly what I did. And I left my friend behind. Well, years later, or whatever, after we kind of lost connection, well, years later, I seen him, you know, in Dallas in the D, and we chilling and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm fixed to head on to the house, man. I gotta get on there to the house, because my mom started tripping, when I ain't at home at a certain time. And I'm like, bro, you 27, 28, 29 years old, and now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying that you're not supposed to respect mom and dad's house. I ain't saying my mom was different. When we got grown, we was grown. The only thing mama wanted us to do was call her. If we house, you pick up that phone and you call me and say, hey, look, now, mama, don't lock the door. I will be there. I'm going to be there. Be there. And that's as a grown man. I'm going to be there, but, open the door. If I would come, whatever. And I'm at my mama's house. My mama knew I was grown. My mama knew I stay out all night on to. Just as long as I called her and said, this what the deal is. This is what this on. And so we was talking and shit, and he was like, yeah, man, I gotta do this. So my mom started tripping. I'm like, bro, what you mean? He was like, man, I ain't, what I'm saying? Y'all moved and y'all got jobs and y'all doing this, y'all doing that, traveling and shit. Y'all got this going on. I can't do that, man, because I mean, shit, y'all taking up all the opportunity for a nigga. I'm like, what you talking about? You do the same thing, man. Y'all do. That's why I separated myself from y'all anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my thing. Y'all do your thing. I'm good with that. I'm good with all y'all. I mean, with bro. I mean, I could have put you up on game too. It's something like I couldn't put you up on game. It ain't like I didn't ask. You was worried about what was going on at your house. Or you was worried about what's going on with your mom and with your sisters and your brothers. Don't get me wrong. I love my mama too, and I love my siblings too. But shit, I wasn't coming back to Dallas. When I said I was leaving Dallas, that's what the hell I meant, and I left. And I said, look, bro, before we even separated or whatever, you can come with us. Let's bounce. Oh man, I gotta go back to the D. Well, bye. But see, you stayed and you made your mind up on what you want to do. So since you stayed, you should have made what was best of it. But no, what you do when it was time for our boys to get together and go travel. You could never come, or did come like that one time. He came and we had to pay for a night or two. We didn't trip. We just did it because that was our boy. We didn't care as long as he was there. We didn't care. And you complain about everything on the trip and you don't have no money. Better for no reason at all. Bitter for no reason, just bitter, mad at all of us because we doing some good whatever, and it's like, oh my God, like I don't know what I got to do them. I mean, we wasn't rich. We just made moves. We just made moves, and so bitter people will be jealous of your moves, and they don't make no changes. And they don't make no changes. Real quick, I'm gonna take a real quick break. A real quick break. I've been letting this kind of scroll down at the bottom so you guys could see that. With any fan questions, any guest appearances, text or call us at 972-904-2398. You can do that real quick. And thank you guys so much. I'm gonna take a real quick break, and I'm gonna play Reggie's video. Make sure you guys catch Happy Hour with Hendrix on tomorrow night at 7:30, and I'll be right back after this promo. So y'all hang tight, right back, and don't take your ass nowhere.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back again this week. Catch Happy Hour with Hendrix with my boy Hendrix on tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. He's going to be on tomorrow night, and then of course y'all know it's going to be MTG After Dark. After Dark will be returning. Now I gotta call Miss Arbor because y'all know her birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday, Arbor! I love you, girl. So I might be by myself again. If I'm by myself again, I got something. I got something. Y'all remember last week we did, would you date me if? We gonna continue it with would you date me if, but I got a whole set of questions. So Miss Arbor don't come on, that's fine. We gonna talk about would you date me if. So you guys can check out our previous episodes, of course, or whatever on our Facebook page, and also we're on Mash Gas Entertainment right now. And so if you guys are listening, if you guys are following, go ahead and click the subscribe button on YouTube and hit that button on your notifications, or hit the notification bell on Mash Gas Entertainment. That's where all of our live shows are going. And I believe we're going to do the MTG Rewind at midnight tonight. So if you missed this show, if you see a glimpse of me, it's okay. The rewind is tonight at midnight, and I'm gonna set that up as soon as I am done with the show. Are you big bitter or are you little bitter? Are you big bitter? Or are you a little bitter? So let's go ahead. I got two more things. I'm gonna bid y'all good evening, and it's gonna take me a few minutes because I'm not gonna be on an entire hour. But let me go ahead and get into this thing because I got to do it. Oh, I got two. I actually got about six more. But I'm gonna go over two more, and then maybe I'll jump on sometime during the Thanksgiving holiday. Because y'all, we are off for Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and so maybe I'll pop in like I do every year and jump back into this. But let's talk about this real quick. So one thing I want about is bitter people. Bitter people always. Does that make me bitter? Does that make me bitter? Listen, let me tell you something. Now, I'm one man to admit I like a good glass of tea. I really, really do. I sit down and I sip on my tea. And but I'm one person. I won't spread it. I hold on to it, but I like to get them. I like to get the goat. I need to get the goat. I got to get the goat. You know what I'm saying? Because the goat is what that is. But bitter people always like to gossip. They love to spread stories about how they heard about things other people done wrong. And you'll always find them fanning flames other than cooling off situations. Like especially if the gossip is about a person that they are not liking at the moment, person that they may be jealous of, but they really hadn't said that they was jealous, but they really are jealous of that person. Something goes wrong with that person, they love to spread gossip about what's going on and jealous of. Let me tell y'all something. Jealousy, you don't have to have everything going on in a good place for somebody not to be to you. People can be in the roughest parts of their life, and you won't have even like one inkling of what they're going through, and they will be jealous of you because they don't know what's going on with you. A bitter person can be so insecure that instead of them looking beyond and looking past what they see, they won't think about the hard work that it takes you to get what you have. They don't know about the stress that you have to go through to keep what you have. They don't know about the sacrifices you have to make in order for you to understand. I'm order for them to understand that you deserve what you have because you work for that. And so, with a bitter person gossip about people that they don't like because they have to make sure they are above them, especially in moments when they're down, especially in moments when things are not looking right. A bitter person can detect when something is off with you because they are always off. And they always want everybody around them to be off. They always got to have something off with you because they're off and because they don't know what's going on with their lives. They can't put their lives in perspective and control, giving them the consistency to work to get what they need to get, or they feel like that they work as hard as you, that they deserve what you have, but don't know the sacrifice and the hell that it took you to get what you got. So they'll talk about your ass. They'll let you have it. They'll say some things to you or to people that you love. They'll try to ruin your reputation, your character. Bitter people. Are you big bitter or are you little bitter? They always got to do something that has to be above what you got going on. Bitter, just bitter, just bitter, just bitter, just bitter. One more thing. Let me say I've been on 34 minutes. Maybe I can give you a solution for a couple of these two on how to deal with bitter people. Uh, um, One more thing that I think I want to talk about is that a bitter person, they always hold grudges. Y'all like my salt and pepper waves? They just salt and pepper. What happens is that when a person is towards you, depending on what the certain situation is that's going on, if people can become bitter against their own sometimes because or against their own judgment because of what someone does to them. Especially if it's your fault that something went down. I'm taking the fall, I'm taking the heat, I'm taking all of the responsibility. You got a wonderful life and you're doing your thing, and I am something you left on me. You can definitely become bitter with that. Prime example. This is a good one too. You have a child, or two, or three, or four, or five, by a man. You and this man never get married, right? Right? But you up here and you done had five children with this man. When you had your fifth baby, you come home and his shit is gone. He moved in with chick across town over here, and he goes and he marries her, and he has a couple of more crumb snatchers with her. He takes care of his kids and his wife. You see him live well, and you stuck with five of his kids, and he ain't doing nothing for you. You can be really bitter behind it. That's just an example. That's just an example. Okay? That's just an example. I know that there are real situations out there like that. It's just an example. But you can become bitter if that happened to you, because if a man that you done had five children with, spend years with this man, nine times out of ten, you are partially responsible for him to be able to go and get the things that he needed to raise a, and then he dumps you when you drop baby number five, or else, of course, you will be bitter because you gave this man five kids. Now there are some who say, "Well, no, I won't be bitter. I'm just gonna take him to child support court. And I'm gonna do my thing." Okay, well, you are reacting to what he did to you, which can be, which can be bitter. Fellas, we are the exact same way. We do is we like to be underhanded with ours, especially if it's something that comes close. Like for example, like one of your homies, you know what I'm saying, smash somebody that they weren't supposed to. And we're not talking about bros before whole situations, because we all know that there's one person, if your bro smash, that you probably try to kill him out or choke him out, and something went down like. But if you found out a situation that went down, and you find out that it was one of your boys, or it was somebody that you was close with, and they live happily ever after, and they took your girl or took your woman, and they good, but you ain't never been in a good relationship since you was with her, but your homie get with your girl, and all of a sudden they doing all good and all this kind of stuff, and you still on your 56 relationship, and they done been together, and your homie done took your chick. So yes, you're gonna be bitter. You can find it. Just examples, y'all. Just examples. These are high levels, so I'm going deep with this. I'm just saying that bitterness can show up in any situation in your life, especially someone had you may have felt wronged you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We're gonna talk about this next time for real. How they struggle to accept advice. Don't you know that sometimes you can tell somebody's real bitter is when they don't listen to nothing you got to say. They go and they do the same old thing over and over and over and over and over again. And then they don't recognize it's a pattern in their lives. You know that it's a pattern in their lives. They know it's something or whatever, not trying to realize it. But every time you try to say, hey, look, I think that this is what you got going on, because they always going to ask you what you think they got going on and the reason why they're being treated or being treated that way. And you say, hey, look, because this is the reason I believe you going in a pattern. You go in a circle. This is what's going on. You don't know what you're talking about. You can never take advice. And then when something else go down that you didn't expect to go down in that situation, now you bitter. Now you bitter. It's the truth. It's the truth. How do you deal with somebody bitter? First of all, stop confiding in bitter people. Stop telling them your business. Stop telling them with sensitive information, because they're not going to do nothing but go and talk about you behind your back because they hate you and they don't have nothing for you. So stop talking to them about your business. I don't care how cool they are. I don't care if they're your best friend of 20 years. You know if you got a bitter best friend. You know if your best friend ain't shit. You know if your best friend is not good for you. If you got someone in your life that you cannot confide and mean confide in, meaning that they can keep that between you and them at all, take it to the grave type shit, stop talking to them. Especially who don't judge you by what you done taught. Stop relying and being their shoulders to cry on. Don't let them be your shoulder. Don't stop giving your shoulder to allow bitter people to cry on when they don't get their way. Cut that stuff out because people with good hearts are always subject to people who are also vulnerable. And a bitter person can always be vulnerable when they don't get their way. It's like you got to keep feeding a gaping hole of sadness. Misery loves company. Misery loves company. That is the truth. It loves company. Stop allowing miserable people to cry on your shoulder. If they never can be happy, if they never can do what they need to do, or if they never can get the help that they need, stop giving your shoulder to cry on. Because the only thing it's gonna make you do is feel sorry for them to use you another day. Just saying. Don't let them cry on your shoulder. Last point. Last point. Last point. Don't be rude to them, but don't agree with them either. Wow. Be rude to a bitter person, but don't agree with their shit either. All the time how I feel. My friends know not to tell me something because I'm gonna say, okay, well, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Well, I think you're full of shit. Will you say that? Straight up. My siblings know they the same way. Sometimes they won't even tell me nothing. Sometimes they won't because they don't want to hear my mouth about certain things because I'm always gonna go over and beyond to make sure that you good. But sometimes that's a fault because sometimes a person don't want to hear what you got to say. Sometimes a person don't want the knowledge that you have. But when you are a bitter person and when you are a person that always got to be over that line about what you got going on with them people, y'all. If I would look, if I had a friend that was always talking about what they got, what they doing, and all this kind of stuff, I'll pull my friend to the side and be like, well, you do have this and you do have that, and that's cool, but you barely got that. So do you really, really want to be flaunting the fact that this is what you got and this is what you're trying to do? Or are you cool with doing it before somebody does on you? Before somebody call you out that really know your business? Be a friend to a person. Be a person that's able to say, you know what, no man, this ain't right. No, sis, this ain't right. No, this ain't gonna work because if you do this, what's gonna happen is you are going to hurt yourself. You're not going to be, helpful to anybody when you are lying to people about what they're really going through. That's just that's just the truth. That, that's just the truth. Don't be in a place to allow a person to go on with their shenanigans and don't stop them from lying. Hold your friends accountable. I don't want nobody in my life that cannot hold me accountable for my misbehavior because I know I'm a handle. So if you my friend, if I've trusted you with my life at some place and some point, then I ain't got time for you to be lying to me if things is not working. I don't need you to be my friend. If you're gonna lie to me, why would you lie to me? Tell me the truth. So that way I can really, really know what's really, really going down and what's going on in my life. I'm just saying. Miss Montgomery, how you doing? Let them folks tell their lies. They like living in fairy tale. No, you can't do that. When you my friend, don't let me live in a fairy tale because a fairy tale is a fairy tale. It's not true. If you are a bitter person and you are being a person that's bitter towards other people and they have to put themselves above somebody else, don't let that person live in a fairy tale. Say, you know what is going on with you? Because I just gave you some money last week to pay your rent. And I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, but how you gonna touch such a bitch and you ain't got your money to pay your rent? That's what I'm saying. Make the people accountable. Because at the end of the day, if a person is not accountable for the way they behave, they'll be stuck in the same situation. And just like I said earlier, bitter people do not make change. They stay stuck until they're forced to make a move. You can't, don't, no, hell no. Now you gotta tell them, Miss Montgomery. Don't let people live in no fairy tale because now if you the type of person that can't confront that person about them living in a fairy tale, then what you would need to do is find a median between you and your friend, or you and your boo, or you and your mama, you and your daddy, you and your sister, you and your brother, you and your aunts, your uncle, whoever it's with. If you get to the place to sit them down and say, hey, this is not cool the way that you're behaving, because you don't always have to go to a person in an aggressive manner. You could talk to a person on their level and say, you know what? How long I've been knowing you? Okay, well, enough is enough with this because I know you and I see right through you. And enough is enough. We have to be accountable sometimes for the people that are around us, and I don't want to be around people that's bitter. If you bitter, about some stuff that's going on, that's fine. But in your own personal life, that kind of deal. But if we friends and you got some bitterness towards me, we need to work on that because we supposed to be friends. We supposed to be in a place to help each other rise. And if you're not in that place to rise, then stay where you at, and give me some more baking powder because I'm gonna rise and do what I need to do, And so it's okay for a person to be in a place where they don't understand and know that they're being bitter, but as a friend, or as a confidant or as a mentor, you have to, tell people what's going down. Miss Montgomery says a person has to be in a place to receive correction. I've had friends correct me, and it wasn't in a mean way, but it was effective. But that's true, Miss Montgomery. But sometimes, if you are in a place and you can explain certain things, because it's not always about correcting people. Correction is based upon the person that's going to be helping with the correction, but making it aware to a person is different. You can make someone aware of their behavior and say, this is not cool. This is what I see, or whatever, and bring it to their attention. Sometimes, if you bring it to their attention, they'll correct their own behavior if they're mature. Life is not about correcting grown folks. Life is about bringing things to the forefront so people can see and understand that, listen, this is the way that you are appearing to me. You're appearing really jealous or you're appearing really bitter. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's not about correction. We ain't children. The only one that can correct us is ourselves or God. And so ain't about correcting. We can hold each other accountable, but we can hold each other accountable by making the other person aware of what's going on and how we can help with what we have made now known. Because once you open somebody's eyes to something, you got to help them with it now because you were the one that helped. And so yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's my time, y'all. We 50 minutes into the show again. On tomorrow night, catch Happy Hour with Hendrix. My boy Hendrix is going to be on at 7:30. Also on Thursday night at 8 p.m. ish. It'll be MTG After Dark, and then of course on Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. Catch the MTG crew, myself, Mo Swag, and my boy Hendrix. We're going to be on with a brand new show with y'all. Definitely this past weekend, I know, was a tough weekend for a couple of us or whatever. I know Mo had some things to do, and so we apologize for not being on Saturday. I gave the crew the day off in advance because I knew that there were things that was going on with all of us. And so we appreciate you guys. We thank you so much for following us. Do us a favor. If you need us again, make sure that you guys give us a call for any topics, guest appearances, or anything of that nature. 972-904-2398, or simply shoot us a text to let us know what's going on. Again, this is your boy Q. This has been MTG Stupid Is Real. We sure appreciate you. Thank you so much. Again, today's show was Are You Big Bitter or Are You Little Bitter? So we'll see you guys on next time, or we'll see you guys later on this week. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. And you guys have a good night. Peace.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal. 여유롭게 달려오 내일은 더 빛나지 당연 yeah. 내 삶은 shine like a diamond